Hello everyone, it's great to have you with us and welcome to the Lincoln International Business School experience. I hope you're enjoying the University of Lincoln virtual open day so far. And for the next 40 minutes or so, I'll be hosting this discussion with my heads of department and with a group of my fabulous students from the school who'll be sharing a little bit of information about what their experience is at studying and living at the University of Lincoln International Business School. My name is Craig Marsh. I'm the Pro-Vice-Chancellor, and so without further ado, what I'd like to do is just to introduce first of all my heads of department, and then invite them just to say to introduce their students briefly. So I think Farhan, you're first up on my screen. So Farhan.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Craig's mentioned, I'm a head of department for the Department of Marketing, Languages and Tourism. And I would like to welcome you all to the open day this evening. I have the great pleasure to be joined by one of my undergraduate students, Ben, today, who you can see on screen, who is from my advertising and marketing degree. And between us today, we'll highlight all of the provision in regards to our department, which includes a whole host of degrees from marketing to advertising to tourism, sport, and even events management. So thank you for joining us this evening.
Great, thanks, Farhan. Ben, just let's say hello, Ben. Good to see you.
Yeah, hello. I'm a second year advertising marketing student, like Farhan said, and I'm excited to talk to you about the course today.
Great, it's good to see you, Ben. We'll pick up a little bit later on some of the fabulous experiences you've had. So Ben, Farhan, thank you so much. So Siobhan, I think you're next on the screen. Please, Siobhan.
Afternoon or almost evening, everybody. I'm Siobhan Goggin, as Craig says. I'm the head of department of accountancy, finance and economics. I am joined today by Chloe, who you'll meet shortly. But I would just like to say that we have some really exciting news as a department, because today we have had our Bloomberg terminal suite signed off. So it's almost live and ready for use by our students. This is so exciting because it will give the students real live business experience. This is what industry is using, and our students will be introduced to this over the course of, well, the current students between now and the end of the year, and of course it will be up and running for our new intake, which I hope will include some of you, from September. So the suite, for those of you who are not too sure what it does, it will enable students to take advantage of industry-related software. It can be brought into the teaching on our programs. It can eventually, potentially, even be part of our assessment on our programs, and that is really exciting. So without saying much more about Bloomberg, it is state-of-the-art. It's a wonderful opportunity for all our students. So at the moment, as you can guess, we're all very keen to start using it. I'm going to now introduce you to Chloe, who, between us, I'm sure will give you a good background on many of the undergraduate programs that we have on offer. Chloe is an accountancy and finance student, so I'll hand over to you, Chloe.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm in my third and final year of accounting and finance, and I'm really looking forward to sharing my experiences and giving you a bit more information, and hopefully you can use that information and start studying at Lincoln.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Chloe. And Siobhan, absolutely right to be excited about the arrival of Bloomberg. We've been waiting for it for a while, and here it is. It's going to be a really nice addition to our studies in your department. You can talk a little bit more about it a bit later on. And Chloe, I'm really looking forward to hearing a bit of your own experience as well. So thank you both. And I'll leave third, Joanna, over to you.
Sorry, looking for the mute button or the unmute button. Thank you, Craig. I'm Joanna Smith, and I'm head of department for the Department of Management. And I'm really pleased to be joined by two students here today, so I'll let them introduce themselves. Callum, can I come to you first?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Callum. I'm a third year business and management student and also just been recently accepted to do the MSc Management Programme after my final year. So I'm looking forward to tell you about my experiences of Lincoln and throughout my journey of studying my programme.
That's excellent. Thank you very much, Callum. And Valeria, if I can come to you.
Hi, everyone. I am a second-year International Business Management student, and I will be happy to share my experiences with you today.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Valeria. Back to you, Craig.
Fantastic. Thanks, Joanna, and thanks to Callum, thanks, Valeria. So we'll get a little taster of what's to come with the discussions with our students. So for those of you who are listening, if you are interested in the subject-specific talks, we do have those available to you, which my colleagues will post into the thread so that you have those available and you can watch those separately, so you get a little bit more detailed information about each of the subjects that we offer at the business school. And indeed, if you're watching and you'd like to ask us a question directly, then please do so, and we can post them into the screen, and myself and my colleagues can pick up those questions. And before we dive in and talk to the students, we indeed have a first question from Hasnain, which I'm just going to show up. So Hasnain, there's a great question about the QS ranking. Universities are subject to several rankings, actually, and the QS is one of those that defines us from an international perspective. And as a young university, actually, the University of Lincoln is just starting to get into the QS, really, I think, for the first time. So we're currently ranked globally at the 600 level. We've arrived there relatively recently. We are going up in the rankings. And what's interesting about the QS ranking, actually, is it's in fact our peers and our reputation that has most of an effect in that ranking. So what that's saying is that actually people think from our other universities and from businesses, they actually think very highly of the University of Lincoln. And it's quite typical that we should be in about that kind of bracket, and we are increasing those rankings. And well, you're probably aware something that we're really proud of is that we were the Young University of the Year in one of our rankings, the Times ranking for 2021. So Lincoln is young, it's heading up, and its reputation is improving all the time. So Hasnain, that is indeed one of the rankings that we spend some time thinking about and that we're improving in. So Hasnain, thank you so much for that first question to get us going. So without further ado, I'm going to pick up on a couple of the points that our students have already mentioned. And Chloe, I'm going to start with you because you're one of our more experienced students of the group, third year accounting finance student, and I know that you've had particular success recently in your own job search. So perhaps just say a little bit about what you've done in terms of that, gaining important sort of career experience. And what you're now planning to do. So Chloe, over to you.
So I'd probably begin in my first year at university, and I would say that Lincoln has one of the best employability support. They give you so much support. You can go into the centre and they help you learn how to go to assessment centres. They give you tips on your CV, how to apply for jobs, the application process. You can do all sorts with them, even if you just need a bit of help knowing what to write on your applications. They can give you all sorts of advice. In my first year at university, I took place in 2 placements. I took place in a 3-day placement at PwC, a Women in Business placement, and I also did a 6-week placement in the finance department at university. And I'd say the finance department placement was really useful because they let you go around each area of finance, and it gives you a bit of insight and a bit more of an understanding of what you kind of like. Because I'd say when you're studying accounting and finance, it's very interesting and you do get to see different areas of what you could go into as a job, but doing it in person and in an experienced workplace is very different. So I'd really recommend trying to get some sort of unpaid job experience in your first or second year before you start applying for jobs, and then you kind of know a bit more about what you want to do. But after I did my 3-day Women in Work placement at PwC, they actually offered me a graduate job in London in their audit department. So I'll be starting that in September of 21. So I would also really recommend, even though in your first year you kind of think to yourself it's just my first year and I've got 2 more years to decide what I'm doing with my life, you might do a placement in your first year like I did, have absolutely no idea where you're going to go with it, but might even open doors for your future, or you might be able to turn around and think that's really not what I want to do, but then you've got 2 more years to kind of explore other areas and decide what you do want to do. So I would really recommend doing some sort of job experience or placement.
Chloe, that's really interesting. So, by the way, many congratulations on the job offer in a highly competitive market, getting that job at PwC. And it was really that placement that led you to eventually to getting that job offer. And start early, that's one of your key messages, right? So often students will think of maybe something you only worry about in the 3rd year, but you started early, and that's really paid off, hasn't it, for you?
Yeah, I would say even if it turns out to be something that you're not interested in, it's such good experience because you're still going through the application process, you're still going to the assessment centres, and you're learning all those skills. And I would say those are probably one of the hardest skills to learn, and I don't think you can learn them without practicing. So even if in your 1st year you're applying to placements and you're not getting accepted, that's fine, because you can go away and you can practice and you can take feedback. And then once you do get to your 3rd year and you're trying to look for a placement, you've already got the skills that you need to go through the application process, because it does get quite challenging, and I think it's definitely a learning curve. So I don't think there's any reason not to start looking as soon as you begin. Yeah.
I was really interested to hear something that you may find out what you don't want to do as well as what you do want to do as well, which is also part of that. And you find out early, or relatively early, so that you can then adjust over the course of the following 1 or 2 years to make the right sort of choice for when you graduate.
Yeah.
No, that's wonderful. Chloe, thank you so much for sharing that experience. And Siobhan, I think it's really interesting things already from your department, isn't there, in terms of the relationships that you have with particularly with industry and those critical firms that students are looking to find jobs in. Siobhan, you need to come off mute, Siobhan. Siobhan, you need to come off mute, sorry.
And there's sometimes a difficulty. Yes, we have excellent relationships with industry, with our employer engagement opportunities within the whole of LIBS as well. It's not just in AFE, but of course the professional bodies play a large part in the work that we do with our students. They provide speakers, they enable students to take part in competitions. And in fact, one of our lecturers has just been voted the Global SEMA Global Lecturer of the Year, which is superb for our purposes. So it strengthens the relationship we have with that particular professional body. The other part of the program that we offer is the Lincoln Student Managed Investment Fund, whereby students can get real work experience whilst they're actually studying, so that you don't have to take a year out. But if you join the Student Managed Investment Fund, which is a real live fund managed by the students, there is an advisory board which meets a couple of times a year, but the students prepare the notes, prepare the minutes and details to report back to the advisory board. So yes, they get advice and guidance, but the students really are the ones making the decision. So that is invaluable. And in fact, there are only maybe about another 4 or 5 universities in the UK that actually offer that experience. And the fund has been growing. This year we have about 105 students who are actually working within the fund. So you have to apply. You just don't get into the fund. You have to apply and show initiative and want to actually participate. And of course, once you've had that work experience, then that sets you aside from someone else who might be applying for a similar job to you. Absolutely. So it is really a worthwhile experience. It's
amazing. It's run by the students. It's run with real money. So it's showing that as Chloe has described to us, it's showing that the really there's no separation anymore, is there, between the academic curriculum and the experience that you get in business when you're studying a subject like accounting and finance. The gap is closed now, isn't it, to all intents and purposes?
Largely, yes. it is a very practical subject, and we are giving students the skills that they need to be able to utilize once they go out into the working environment. Absolutely. They have the opportunity to, in this example for accountancy and finance, to study tax, to study auditing, to study management accounting, to study financial accounting, all different aspects that come under the heading of accountancy and finance. And of course, then with the finance, that feeds through to many of our other programs in banking and economics, as well as business. Absolutely. So there is that thread which is related to the practical skills that students need once they leave university. Absolutely right, and I think Chloe is living proof of the success of that and getting a really good job at Price Waterhouse as a result of all of that work that we put into that effort. And there's a question actually coming from Adrian, which is related to this. And he said, Adrian is asking, will students have the opportunity to get first-hand experience of how different businesses operate while studying at Lincoln, not in their third year, second year, but maybe the first year they decide to? So hopefully, Adrian, just listening to Chloe's example and from some of the descriptions we've given you, you can see that we really start thinking about that as soon as you arrive at Lincoln. And actually, it's entirely up to you in many ways how you engage with us on that. And some students don't start thinking about it to the second year, but certainly as far as the support we're giving you through talks, through work placements, or through actually the direct access to areas that like the Lincoln Student Management Action Plan that Siobhan's been talking about. All of those experiences are available to you. And you probably heard Chloe say you can even get a job at the university to get that work experience as well. There are many ways of getting that. So that's absolutely essential to the experience that's studying at a business school and at the University of Lincoln. So Adrian, thank you for that question. Hasnain has always also asked a question about why Lincoln versus one or two of the other universities that you've applied to. Well, Hasnain, I'm going to reserve that question. So hopefully through the conversations that we're having, you'll start to pick up why we think we're distinct from the other universities you've applied to, Hasnain. So that's one for you to come back to if you like once you've heard us speaking. So Chloe, Siobhan, thank you so much for that. Callum, sorry, Siobhan, please. No, that's fine, Craig. I was just saying thanks. It's good to have the opportunity to explain to future students about the opportunities and advantages they can experience when they come to Lincoln. And in fact, I should also say that many of our staff have both practical business experience as well as a nucleus of staff who are academics with PhDs. So we cover the full spectrum from accountancy on one hand through to economics on the other hand. So all in all, a good balance. Absolutely. Thank you, Siobhan. And again, those subject talks are available if any of our listeners do want to sort of dive in and take a look at some more detail on those. And or of course, just contact us and we can put you in touch with the program leaders there. So fantastic. Callum, I'd love to come on to you next. Again, somebody else like all of our students who I'm just always amazed about how much you've managed to fit in while you've been studying with us. And Callum, as a student ambassador, and you've done some fantastic work with us as a student ambassador, but you've also been doing some of the employability work yourself, haven't you? I think you've done the employability module in year 2, I think, and you've been a placement with yourself. But anyway, talk a bit about your experience with this, Cal.
I did the employee careers module in year 2. But now that's being pushed down to the first years. So students who come and join us now, they will get a really good head start, being able to do a module that will be really helpful if you're looking for a placement year. So the whole modules are based on careers and employability, how to do interviews, your CVs, and how to understand what companies are looking for. One of the great things that the business school do often is a lot of lecture talks with big companies like Santander, for example. And again, the Careers Employability Centre also offer what's called the Lincoln Awards, where again, it's similar to the Careers Employability module. It helps you prepare and to get work ready for when you're looking for placements or graduate jobs. And there's always continuous companies coming in, talking about what they can offer and what they look for students. And it really gives you a great head start into preparing to use your degree out through time you spend here. But for example, for the business management program, it's about trying to get students to think and act like managers. And over the years I've been here, I've been able to use a lot of the modules into the practice I do at Lincoln. So, for example, for my student recruitment ambassador role, we've had the management professional, so how to lead teams, how to organise teams. And this has come really helpful where I've also looked for other opportunities that Lincoln offer. So with the Students' Union, I was Vice President for the Business Society. I created one of the biggest societies last year with Students' Union, which was about creating socials for students every week and working closely with businesses. And as I've always said, so on the list is forever going. There is so much support that the business school and the university offer. There is always something for someone, and it's about exploring what you would like to do and make the use of every opportunity that is offered.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Cal. And you've also, I think, made some choices about what you're going to do next with all this amazing experience that you've been having from the school. Is that right?
Indeed. Very pleased to announce that I've, as of yesterday, been accepted to do the MSc Management program here at Lincoln. I've finished my undergraduate. Again, the life experience I've had at Lincoln has just been above and beyond fantastic, and it is that reassurance and the great opportunities I've had here. I want to keep on, doing more and learning more about the theoretical approaches to management. And again, being Lincoln TEF Gold Rated University, the academic teaching is fantastic, and I'm just very pleased to continue my venture at Lincoln, and looking forward to starting my masters next year.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Cal. I must just pick up one thing that you did mention that was interesting. Of all that range of things that you've done, the BizSoc, I think you said that you've been in. Is that right? And was that part of your experience as well, joining the Business Society?
Yes. So I've been a member for 3 years, and last year I was Vice President for the Business Society. This is something you can also do with the Students' Union as voluntary work. And so there's an opportunity to become Vice President for the Business Society or President for other societies, where you get to work with your committee to grow the society to what you would like it to be to give to the students. And again, the Lincoln International Business School works very close with the Business Society. So you are always getting continuous support and always new opportunities offered. But it's always great to have something extra in your CV, and doing that role has not only allowed me to use my degree learning into the voluntary work, but also it's been helpful using that experience back into the theories when I'm doing my essays and reports. So as I've always said, make the most of every opportunity that is offered here.
Thank you, Callum. And it's one of our sources of great pride, actually, that the Business Society is so strong, and thriving, and of course provides you also with some of those generic skills development opportunities in terms of running a society that are so useful for your CV at the end of it. So well done for that, and so good to hear that you've signed up for the Masters as well. So thank you, Callum. And perhaps I can switch to Valeria. And Valeria, International Business Management, second year. Spanish by origin. You've been teaching Spanish. You've been a student ambassador. You've also been a course rep for us, and somebody else who's got this amazing variety of experiences. So Valeria, perhaps just say a little bit about some of the richness that you've experienced while you've been a student with us.
Thank you, Craig. Last year it was during Freshers Week where I saw that I could have the opportunity to teach Spanish. So I signed up, and I have been teaching the language now for 2 years. And I also have some other friends teaching other languages. So there's a variety of students teaching other students, and also some members of staff. So that has been really fun and a great way to make new friends, especially now because of the pandemic. And yeah, this year I am the school representative for the Department of Management. So I work with Joanna, and it's been really great, and I've had the opportunity to meet many students and other course reps, and this is also my second year being an ambassador. So I have also worked in open days on campus, it's really enjoyable, and I am also a Unibody ambassador. So I also help students online on the
Thank you,
Unibody
Valeria.
platform.
That's amazing. And being a student rep is obviously a really important part of the way that we structure and manage our college, isn't it? And that's something that Joanna, you've heard from two of your wonderful students. Some reflections, perhaps, on some of the themes that you're really that's important for you that you're prioritising as head of department for management.
Yeah, thank you, Craig. I mean, I just can't say how proud I am of the students here, and indeed so many students. There are so many opportunities and almost too many for people to do. I want to pick up, first of all, something that Callum said when he said, you know, the programs we offer help you to think like managers, and that's absolutely true, but they go beyond that, and Callum's actually demonstrated that in some of what he said, because they also prepare you to act like a manager and to work like a manager. And the fact that he was deputy vice president of the Business Society, I think, is evidence of that. And Valeria, currently, she is the program, I think you're the departmental rep, aren't you, for the whole of the Department of Business. So she's representing all the students across my department this year. So she and I work together as managers, solving problems, dealing with issues, looking how we can improve and develop things in the future jointly together. And so Valeria is getting real hands-on experience of being involved in that management function as a student. And I think that's a really important thing to stress, that this is very applied and very practical. And a lot of what we do, it has that Absolutely. Focus and that leaning.
I know, Valeria, you're telling us that you've done a poster for the football club as well recently. What was that about? It didn't sound like anything else that you were telling us about before. So how did you come about doing that?
It's for my operations management module. So we have applied several methods of theory of the operation management. And the challenge was to, we spoke with the marketing management team for the football club, and they wanted students to get a solution and propose through a poster how they could improve and increase fan engagement through digital platforms. So it was a group poster, and all of the students made different solutions and proposals, and some of them, I think they're gonna do an online exhibition. So that was really interesting and fun, because we had the opportunity to talk with the members of staff at the Lincoln City Football Club, and we also did lots of research.
So that's really interesting. That, and again, an example of one of our prestigious local organisations, the IMPS, and we've got a great relationship with them. They're very strategic in the way they think, and you've just given a great example of the kind of project that we can work with on our local organisation. So, Joanna, this is part of the challenge-based learning assessment we do in operations management, isn't it? It's a really important part of the program.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Craig. Yes, it is. It's a second-year core module on business and management, and I think on a number of other programs as well. And if people want to dip into the subject presentation that I do with a few of my colleagues, I think the very first photograph we show in that presentation is of 3 groups of students all involved in challenge-based learning. One worked with a GP surgery, one worked with, I think, a farmer's buying group, and my favourite was a toy library. I think that was the image there of all the toys in the background. So it's really getting involved in local community projects and real life businesses as well, is what we do. Yeah,
it's really. I mean, all of our students, I think, have referred to, isn't it? Our commitment to our local and regional community and economy, as well, of course, as giving students great experience at developing problems, developing solutions to those problems, and providing those real-time value-added solutions to those organisations.
Yeah, and I think it's important to say it's great that we work with some really big organisations. It's fabulous, but also working for a small organisation you can make a real difference and a real impact in small organisations as well. So we kind of offer the full range. So it's great that you can get involved in lots of different areas of work.
Absolutely right. And it works both ways as well. And Valeria, I know you. I think you said you've been working with a mentor from business now. Is that right?
Yes, so students have been offered the opportunity to get with a mentor, and all of the mentors are working for local businesses in Lincoln and around. So students also get real experience and real advice on what to do, and depending on the help that they need. For example, I applied because I am looking for placements for next year. And my mentor is an account manager at the University of Lincoln.
So that gives you an opportunity to work not only with a business, but actually in a one-to-one way with somebody who can provide you that personal coaching, support, and mentoring with your career ambitions.
Yes, so there's many mentors working in different areas.
Absolutely, and by and large, we have more mentors than we have students who are looking for them. So it's never a problem to find a business mentor to work with students over the course of their studies. So thank you, Valeria. That's a really interesting point you shared with us. So good. Let's Ben. You've been very patient, and Ben Bryan, your second year advertising and marketing, working in our Department of Marketing, Languages and Tourism. So Ben, you've been spending a lot of time thinking on and getting experience in terms of the career support that we give. So Ben, just an opportunity for you to say a little bit about your experience with us so far at Lincoln.
Yeah, so I'm looking for a placement for next year. So in my first year, the careers and employability module was amazing, and it taught me so much, which I'm using constantly now. So having to go through an assessment centre and given the real life experience of what it's actually like in a pressured environment with real business people interviewing you, doing real logical assessments and tests, that really gave me an understanding of where my strengths are, but also my weaknesses, which was a lot more priceless in helping me improve for the real ones this year. So currently applying at the moment, but at the moment I've also been using the careers and employability service quite a lot. So they also do mock interviews, they do assessment centre prep that's thorough through every single stage, and the sort of things you can sort of expect. So it's really gearing you up and giving you the best opportunity possible to do the best you can in the assessment centres, but also the CV writing and cover letters. And many people perhaps haven't written a cover letter. I didn't from 2 months ago. I'd never written a cover letter, but it gave you the real feedback. It was incredibly helpful, and learning from those sort of people and what they have to say is
that's great, Dan. And actually,
really
so again, coming back to something that we touched on earlier, so experiencing that careers and employability module, which is a core part of your program in your first year, and putting you through that peculiar trial that many students have to go through for when they start applying for jobs, called the assessment centres. You have a real time going, and it's companies that we bring into you to do that. So it's quite realistic, isn't it? Quite stressful, I suspect, going through it, but better to go through the NAPSA and learn from it, as you said. But when you go through the real one, you've had a bit of practice at it already. And Ben, you're advertising and marketing. Your thoughts on your career and how it relates to the subject you're studying?
Yeah, so before I started at the university, I didn't really know what sort of area of marketing that really interested me. So moving on to into my first year gave me the opportunity to experience such a wide range of subject and areas within the industry. So from marketing and advertising to organizational behavior, but also to modules like business finance and economics, which I never previously considered as something that would interest me personally, because I didn't think I was great at maths at the time. But once I learned more about it and was able to apply it into a real business scenario, it helped me really understand it a lot more and made me a lot more interested into the subject and learn more and do well in it. So moving forward, I'd consider sort of mathematical aspects and placements that involve that sort of side of business more, whereas probably before I start the university it'll be a definite no and I'll be just in the marketing side. But it's really given me the opportunity to experience a variety of different areas within the industry that I probably wouldn't have considered.
Thank you so much, Ben, for sharing that. And Farhan, you're head of department in this area, but again, a broad range of subjects covered. But what's interesting hearing about, not just on that emphasis on employability, but also that that breadth or range of subjects, organization behavior, economics, marketing, that you study when you're doing a subject like advertising and marketing finance. How does that fit in with the things of your department?
Yeah, good evening again. Yeah, I think what Ben's highlighted in that last few moments is just an epitome of what we do. And I'm so grateful to my fellow heads in the room with me tonight, because what I do is essentially in our programs and within our department, whether that be marketing, advertising, tourism, events, is we effectively co-chair modules with our colleagues. You know, we opt in, make sure that our students are taught by experts within their field. I could dress up as an economic expert, but sadly that would not be the true picture of things. So we often buy in and often get our colleagues in other departments to teach our students. And as Ben has quite rightfully highlighted, sometimes that works absolutely brilliantly and it stimulates an interest in something that they may not have thought about previously. And I'm so pleased to hear that Ben is possibly thinking about a career along those lines now, because that's exactly why we do those particular modules. Because we know Ben has an interest in advertising and marketing, but he's now found a niche that he might potentially want to follow in the future. And that's essentially a great outcome.
Very, very much so, Farhan. And go on, I know you're very proud of some of the highest rated programs in the university, actually in the UK for some of the programs in your department. So say a little bit about, you're allowed to boast about those. Talk about the review.
Yeah. I suppose it's Christmas, so I should say some good things once in a while. But no, I'm very, very proud of my colleagues and the students within our department. We've done exceptionally well in the league tables recently. We're consistently in the top 10 of the NSS now for the last 7 years. In terms of the Guardian league tables, we're ranked second in the country. In the complete university guide, we're ranked in the top 7 for tourism and 26th out of 81 providers for marketing. So it's a fantastic news story for us. And that's not only a testament to my colleagues who teach within the department, but it's actually a testament to our students as well, because they go out there, they achieve fantastic things, and those are all key indicators.
And it's something we're all proud of, Farhan, so you're great to hear you talking about it. In terms of events, I've always been intrigued by some of the actual events that the students put on if they're studying events. Isn't that right? I mean, I know we were restricted this year, but that's an unusual year. Generally speaking, they're actually they're putting fashion shows on, there's all sorts of things going on in the events spot.
Oh yeah, if students are thinking about the events management program that we have, we expose you to organising and running events from day one. This is the first year in 10 years since 2010 that our students haven't been involved in the world famous Lincoln Christmas Market, for example, where they actively get involved in the visitor survey. They look behind the scenes in terms of how the event's organised and run. And then as they proceed through their first year and into their second year, you've hit the nail on the head. We get them organising events, and we try to give back to this community as well. And many of our events are often charity based. We've done events for St. Barnabas recently before the lockdown. But I assure you, in that sense, the lockdown hasn't stopped us, because students this year are actually running online events. And in fact, we had one just this past weekend where we had a online fashion show, which sounds fantastic on the surface of it. And as you can clearly see, I wasn't invited, but yeah,
it's one of those cases where we have a lot to learn from our students, Farhan. Let's just leave it at that.
Oh, that's it. Student producer, I think, is referred
and,
to.
Farhan, if I may just stay with you for a second, because we've had another question come in from Hasnag, which is quite interesting. It refers to Spark House, which is our incubator that's based at the University of Lincoln, which we're also really proud of. And there are many young companies there, many students graduates who start their own companies in Spark House. And this is something that the students can get involved in as well, can't they? You have a couple of examples, I think, where they've done that.
Absolutely. In fact, this couldn't have been discussed on a better day, because earlier this morning, we had one of our probably most successful undergraduates who graduated a number of years ago come back, because we have a student by the name of Amy Wallace who runs a company called Market Inn, which is based at Spark House. Now, Amy graduated a few years ago. She had a great idea for starting her own business. So rather than just thinking about it, she liaised with Spark House. She gained the necessary knowledge that she needed. And as part of that incubator environment, like you referred to, she began her own business. and it's been mightily successful, so much so that we brought Amy back this morning to talk about digital marketing as part of our revalidation process. So it was most certainly a success.
It's great. Don't worry, it's great to hear your kids in the background. It's like we're used to that as well. It's getting a bit late for them, isn't it? So we're almost done fine. So thank you so much for that. And Hasnain, thank you for a great question as well. So I really appreciate that. I suppose just the last 5 minutes or so, I would like to finish with our fabulous students, and I'd like just perhaps to go around and invite each one of them just to say a little bit about the one thing. What is it that if I were listening to this and they say, you know what, I'm looking at lots of universities, why Lincoln? And I'd be just great to get your answers, and I'll sort of go in reverse order. So Ben, perhaps I could start with you. That's a great question. So why Lincoln? What would you say?
Why Lincoln? So I think the city of Lincoln itself has massive draws, and is one of the reasons why I chose Lincoln. Everything is within walking distance, whether that's shops or the university itself. So around the Brayford sort of Pool campus, you can walk maybe 15 minutes to get to your accommodation to the Libs International Business School. So having that ease of being able to get around, go to the city centre high street, being able to go to Morrison's or whatever supermarket, having that opportunity to experience Lincoln and being able to move and go wherever you want to. I think that's one of the reasons why I found Lincoln as the place that I wanted to go.
Well, I'm pleased you've identified it, because we talk about, wherever you're from, you're at home. It's such a, actually, I think almost unique in terms of universities, that quite sort of enclosed campus right in the centre of a beautiful city with everything quite close by, including, as we've been hearing, our businesses and our community. We feel part of that one community here, and I'm really pleased you've mentioned that, because I think we all subscribe to that. We all get that. So thank you so much, Ben. Valeria, from your perspective, why would you say?
For me, I think, especially because I am from abroad, it's the mixture of cultures and how diverse the university is and how inclusive it is, and how there's lots of events, even for many religions and many countries. You can find so many students from different places, and it's also really interesting how the university has always events and things to do to make new friends and just to get to know others, even events with members of staff and the ambassador opportunities, so you can really be a part of the university. You're not just a student. So I think that's my favorite thing.
Absolutely right. And of course, we are a Lincoln International Business School, and we all carry that title with great pride. I mean, we have nearly 400 international students. They're over 80% of the international students at the university, and you're a great example of that. Over a third of the faculty are from international backgrounds. And we have a fantastic global experience team who provide a continual flow of events and support. Cultural awareness. We have a global certificate that students can get. We really are interested in creating global citizens out of all of our students, and it is a source of great pride and a big part of the attraction for us. So, Valeria, thank you so much for highlighting that for us. I'm going to come to Callum. So your answer to the question, why Lincoln, Callum?
As exactly as it says in the tin, it's a life-changing experience. You don't come just to Lincoln for the degree. You come for so much more. The opportunities that are offered are more than you can ever imagine. There is so many services available. You may not use every single one, but there's always going to be something that can do to help every student along the way of their journey at Lincoln. Again, our International Business School has great partners across locally and internationally and within the UK. It's Lincoln really does show, what kind of person you want to be, and they will help you become that person you've always want to experience. And even if you come to university and you're interested in the subjects and you're unsure where to go from there, there's always going to be loads of people you can meet and speak to, and they can help you go on the path you want to. It has been some of the best 3 years I've had at Lincoln, and it's why I'm staying on for another.
And living here saying that. That's what we all do. That transformative experience. We love working with you and seeing what wonderful students and the kind of experiences that you have. That transformative experience. I really like that phrase. So, Callum, thank you so much. And Chloe, and actually, but when we come on to you, we have a question that I think is kind of right up your street here from Gina. She said, "What is it like to study accounting and finance at Lincoln?" So here you go. Why Lincoln? So it looks like Gina's thinking of doing the same course. Over to you.
I think the thing that I really liked about accounting and finance at Lincoln, because I did look at a few other universities, and in your first year studying accounting and finance, you don't actually just study finance. You go into organisational behaviour, you do marketing, you do a bit of economics, and you get quite a broad range of, like Ben was saying, you kind of have the opportunity to understand different subjects that you might not have even thought about. And then in your second year at in accounting and finance, you actually get to choose a subject that you'd like to study. So I chose audit, but you've got quite a few options, and you can kind of tailor your degree to the kind of direction that you'd prefer to go in. And it's the same in your third year. So at the moment I've chose to do tax, but you can do a dissertation. There's, I think it's personal financing, and there's a few other choices that you can take. So you can kind of make your degree how you'd like it. But I'd also say one of the best things about the course is you do get exemptions. So when you do finish your degree, you come out of it with quite a few exams already done if you would like to become a chartered accountant after university. So it kind of not only gives you the experience you need to go into a job, but it kind of fast tracks you a little bit for becoming a chartered accountant if that is what you want to do. But I think it's great. You get a lot of guest lectures coming in. You can talk to your lecturers about the different professional bodies, and you get quite a lot of information about that. And there's lots and lots of knowledge and advice surrounding the subject. So I think it's great studying.
Well, Chloe, that's thank you so much for that great description of some of the benefits of studying accounting and finance. So those exemptions that are available, the ability to choose the subjects, it's almost like tailor your degree according to your interests, but also that breadth of experience, studying those other subjects as well that indeed Ben talked about. Because when you join a business, you know what? You don't just end up doing accounting. you are exposed, as my colleagues will attest, that you get exposed to lots of other different areas, and it just shows whether you're actually interested in those other areas, as Ben found out in maths and economics. So, so Chloe, thank you so much, and thank you to all of you, actually, all of my students and my colleagues, for describing so well what we all feel so passionately about. Which is the great educational experience that all of our students have when they join our family at the Lincoln International Business School. So thank you so much. We have had one final question from Georgina about international opportunities, the event management course. And we have touched on this a little bit, but Farhan, international events, tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. The international opportunities actually apply to a number of our programs across LIBS at the moment. The first thing I would say is that if you join the events management program, you do have the opportunity to go and study abroad at one of our partner institutions. Obviously, with COVID at the moment, we are managing that situation carefully. But that is something that's certainly an option available to you. And hopefully, fingers crossed, by the time you join us and you progress to that level, we'll be in much more of a better place. Moreover, a lot of our events management students also tend to do a lot of their international placements abroad as well. So they go away, they do their placement year at a number of organizations, and as a result of that, gain some great experience. So it's really impressive from that regard.
Great, thank you, Farhan. Again, such an important part of the experience that we offer our students. And Georgina, thank you so much for the question. So as usual, we are up against our time, so I will draw proceedings to a close. Thank you so much for everybody who's listening. Thanks to my colleagues and my students for contributing to the discussion. Do ask us in the usual ways through the website, through following the links. If you have any more questions about the particular subjects that you're interested in, don't hesitate, do come and see us. And I hope that we can all welcome you physically when you decide to come and join us at the University of Lincoln at some time round about towards the end of next year. So it remains for me to wish everybody, if you're celebrating Christmas, have a wonderful Christmas break. If you're not, have a great winter break. And I'll leave you with just a short medley or video just to give you a little bit more of a flavour of the experience of coming to study and work at the University of Lincoln. Thank you, everybody.
Why did I choose Lincoln International Business School? I chose it because I fell in love with it at the application day.
I chose Lincoln Business School because after speaking to people about their experiences here, I knew that I'd be happy.
So doing a placement gives you so much more confidence when entering the workplace for the first time, because you've got that experience underneath your belt.
Not only will you learn loads of new things and discover what you want to do in the future, but you also be more determined than ever when you come back to the final year to complete your degree.
Anything I've learned from like marketing to business management, I've put into practice here. I've obviously improved on it. A year working in a business, you achieve incredible things.
Hello, my name is Hao Quach. I'm a principal lecturer and program leader for banking and finance. I'm the founder of the Student Managed Fund at the University of Lincoln. The fund is organized the same way as any professional investment company in the real world. It is one of only few of this kind in the UK. Students participating in the fund have the opportunities to meet with experts from the field, and they are given additional trainings to their works.
So one of the things I enjoy about being a member of Aylesmith is that I get to learn in a practical sense, which I find much more enjoyable and interesting than just learning straight from a textbook.
Being part and a member of investment fund is getting many benefits, and the most I enjoy the personal feedback from industry experts.
Also, it's a great way to develop presentation skills and soft skills, which are highly important for the world of work.
So the ultimate goal of the fund, therefore, is for students to gain work experience while they are studying at the University of Lincoln. That helps them prepare for the job market after graduation.
Hi, so I'm Eleanor Priest and I've graduated today with a first class honours in business and finance. I can't even put into words how amazing it was to sit in that cathedral, which is stunning. Like, the pictures don't even do it justice. It just feels so surreal, and it's amazing to celebrate with everybody that you've worked with for the past 4 years, and obviously all your family who have supported you throughout. So yeah, it's been amazing, and it's definitely one of my highlights from university.